we go to camp meeting and everything, and they study say the same thing, but they don't do anything. But they tell you that if you call, they're gonna come right away. A member in my family had an accident. Had someone to do something to them. They was it was like they was getting in a car or something and called the police, and I think we called the police about 6 or 7 times before one even showed up.
But the cops around here, they be shiesty. I mean, yeah, they do their little patrol around, but to me, man, they don't look at the big picture. They just go after any old kind of person, take them off the street, charge them with a crime that they probably didn't even commit. And they do this type of shit every fucking day around here. And yet they sit on their asses, eat donuts all fucking day instead of catching the real criminals, you feel me? You know, it's just like, man, life ain't even fair. And it's only because these cops, they get to do whatever the fuck they want to do, and they have to be rude and all this other shit. Then, you know, to me, man, that's how they fuck up our neighborhoods, to me. They're the ones that's putting the fucking crack and shit into our system, you feel me? Our neighborhood is pretty decent. Shit don't happen because everybody know one another, and motherfuckers know out here, we out here trying to make money, and everybody trying to make a decent living.
So you could just sit on your porch and have to be patted down, and they dig in your pockets and pull their weapons out. Get that. When you young and you see that kind of stuff, it fucking with you. It almost drives you to rebel towards everything. You see what I'm saying? Like me, I got a perfect story. My first time going to the county jail, I didn't know what I was in there for till I saw the TV judge. And that's all because I was walking to the restaurant and the police pulled up on me. And I asked them what I do because they got my hands on the car trying to take my stuff out of my pockets. And the man told me I was WWB.
Before you did anything, he just walked up to you and started doing things to you?
Exactly. See, they jump out their time. And I had enough court appearances to know that they supposed to announce precincts and badge numbers and all this kind of stuff.
Aren't they required? Aren't they required to tell you what you're being arrested for if they arrest you?
By law, but excuse me, I won under arrest. I was being, how do they call it, detained in the world due to a law we have called probable cause.
Okay.
And
so that they thought by probable cause.
Police to think that they could do whatever they want to do.
So out here, police have a lot more leeway to do whatever they want than in other neighborhoods?
Since I've been around here, the only ones I see break the law is the police.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's real crazy. But like I was saying, though, they had me on the cop, and he told me I was WWB.
What does that stand for?
That's what I asked him. And he told me walking while black. And guess what? My first instinct was to push him and try to get as far away from him as I can. So that's what I did. And they chased me, tripped me, knocked me down, beat me, kicked me all in my stomach, made me shit in myself and everything. I'm all in jail smelling like shit, so everybody that know what happened to you, police that kicked your ass. People be afraid of, some people be afraid of succeeding because you gotta look at it like, you got kids to be in school and be smart and scared to be smart, scared to ask questions, you know, because they outnumbered by people who might want to look down on them, you know what I'm saying, because they asking questions, laugh at them. There was a point in time in my life, and I knew I was smart, and every time I asked a question, the motherfucker laughed at me.
Living in Hyde Park is pretty cool. It's a nice neighborhood on the south side. It's like one of the nicer ones. It's just sort of like surrounded by like places you don't want to be after dark. So essentially we've got like double security patrols. Like Hyde Park is like pretty tight with the cops. Like if something happens, like there'll be like 20 cars in like an area like within 20 minutes, you know, just like all rolling deep. Also, the University of Chicago happens to have like one of the largest independent police forces in a city, or in the city, I think. And a lot of them are off-duty cops, like working a second job. So they have real police powers too. So like if you get caught by a UFC police officer, you can get arrested. Like if you're committing a crime, and it'll be just as legal as a regular cop. Like they carry guns and everything. Chicago is definitely one of the most segregated cities around. Because like it's weird because it's almost like a self-segregation. Like people just stick to themselves mostly. and they don't like people coming in, and that works on like either end, you know. The Hyde Park is one of the exceptions because it is so diverse. There are a lot of white people and a lot of black people there, and like that was in like the '60s and stuff. It was one of the most diverse neighborhoods around.
I really like the neighborhood personally. I think that the city lately has been doing more to like do better things for my neighborhood, because like if the Olympics come to Chicago, Hyde Park is like one of the main places where the Olympics going to be at. Plus, Obama lives like a few blocks away from my house. They have their own police force that's part of the University of Chicago. So I'd say the streets are generally safe.
One last question. Chicago is considered to be one of the most segregated cities in America. Do you see any of these signs of these truth in your neighborhood?
Oh yeah, you left that here.
Not in Hyde Park.
Yeah.
Hyde Park is like, I'd say,
Yeah,
dominantly a
sure.
black neighborhood, but at the same time it's very mixed. Hyde Park is the most mixed
Well, I think I might
neighborhood
be.
that I know of in
headed
Chicago.
out
So.
soon.
Do the police like ensure that people are safe though, or do they just like not care?
Living in my neighborhood is it's a very good feeling, and I think that's mostly because of the fact that I feel safe living in this neighborhood. And no, I do not think the city takes equal steps to keep other neighborhoods in the city, you know, above like
Above the standard of living?
poverty margins. I think the government, or I think the city, tends to cater to neighborhoods with a population that has a lot of income, and I feel like if there's not a lot of income in a certain area within the city, then I don't think the city really cares as much for that territory or for that land, you know, than the area where like people who are making money and, you know, investing in, you know, where the income rate is higher. I think the city tends to, you know, cater to those people more. As far as like infrastructure wise, like I think some neighborhoods get more parks and more, you know, just more social environments to hang out at, versus like low income areas. They don't have as many parks and the streets are dirtier, and the city doesn't come through to clean and to keep like, you know, the standard. I would say like the standard presenting, like it's not really presentable in some neighborhoods that don't have the city's assistance. As far as diversity, I think Lincoln Park was very good too, because it wasn't as segregated as some schools are in Chicago. And even in the Lincoln Park neighborhood, I felt like Lincoln Park was like a melting pot for a lot of different people of all social backgrounds and like financial, or, you know, financial statuses, I guess. As far as other neighborhoods, I would hope the city, you know, makes more steps to better those neighborhoods, because there are always like, you know, the youth. There's always the youth there that, you know, look up to positive things, and sometimes they don't really have that inspiration, I would say, to, you know, really live the life that they would want to, and they kind of limit themselves just to their neighborhood because they don't know anything else but their neighborhood. So I would hope for the city to like reach out to low class or low income families and people of that nature.